Hey there, I'm Brandon. This is Dirt Church Devotional, coming to you from, well, somewhere outside of Shelton in some beautiful weather, just epic conditions. A little bit warm, but that's better than being too cold. So, I've been thinking lately about music, and I don't know about you, but I'll be honest with you, classical is not my go-to. It's not, I don't have presets on my radio that's for classical or symphony type music. Not that I don't appreciate it, but I probably don't appreciate it as much as I maybe should. Certainly not as much as some people do. Anyway, all that said to say this, our drummer at church, Andy, he is involved in a number of different bands and in some symphonies, and he invited us not too long ago to come and watch one of his concerts. So we went, and it was a symphony concert, and I'm sitting there, and I got to tell you, I was just amazed. There's all these different musicians, and they're all playing their parts, and the music just comes together beautifully. And as I thought about it, I thought, you've got the composer. The composer wrote the piece. They wrote the music. They know what they want it to sound like, and in their mind, they're thinking about all the different instruments. I mean, everything from string instruments to wind instruments to brass to percussion, and they've got all this in their head, what they want it to sound like. And so they write it down, and then you get a conductor that gets a neat little stick to threaten to whip people with, and he gets up there, and he's the one that guides all the other instruments in what they're supposed to be doing. And he tells them, and they know by the way that he points his stick. I should have a stick. Anyway, by the way he points his stick, when it's their turn and where they should be and what they should be doing. And of course, they're all paying attention because they're professional musicians. And then the musicians come in, and like I said, there's all different kinds of musicians, all different kinds of instruments, and they're all playing right on cue. But you know what else I noticed? Not everybody is playing all the time. Some of them seem to be involved a lot more than others, or they're playing more constantly than others. And then there's other instruments that seem to get very little time. And in particular, I'm thinking about the guy that was playing the cymbals. And I'm watching him, and it kind of made me laugh. He's standing over there, and you can tell he's enjoying the music. This is cool. Everybody's enjoying each other's instrument and their part, but he's enjoying the music, and he's just paying attention. He's just waiting like he's got nothing to do. And then all of a sudden, the conductor goes like this, and bing! And sometimes he hit it so slightly that you could barely tell that he had done it, and yet there was a notable change. And then, of course, when you get to the end, you've got this guy that's maybe he's touched the cymbals 2 or 3 times through this whole 5 or 10 minute symphony, and then the crescendo. And what is a crescendo without the cymbals? Just bang! And it's exciting. It's cool, right? What am I talking about music for? Paul wrote, and he talked about the body. He talked about how the body of Christ, the church, is like a human body, and how every body has different parts, and he used the example of eyes and ears and nose and hands and feet and all this different stuff. But think about it with music. If it weren't for that cymbal player, that symphony wouldn't have been just right, or without the oboe, or without the drummer, without the different instruments. And everybody had to be doing their part at just the right time, and some were more involved than others, but everybody was important. That symphony wouldn't have been as impressive as it was if even one person missed their cue. Okay, so maybe your part, you don't seem to feel like you're getting much playtime. Hang on, just wait. The Lord knows what he's doing. He's the composer. He's the one that wrote the symphony of our lives, and he knows who he wants where and how he wants it going. And he's placed conductors in your lives, pastors and other leaders, to help guide and direct. And he knows just when your part is, when it's going to come into play, and when it's time for you to crash those cymbals, or well, I'm not even going to say what other instruments do, because I'm just not very musical. But I will say this: I appreciate symphonies more than I used to. And hey, why don't you chew on that? We'll talk to you next time.